Hi, this is Tina Hamilton, and I'm with Chris Schalleur of Christo IT. Hi, Chris.
Good morning.
Chris is one of our tenured members. He's been with EO how long?
A little over 11 years now.
11 years. Yeah. Wow. And as you know, one of my new role with EO is to get more engaged with the tenured members, know more about them, put a spotlight on them. And so we've invited Chris as one of our favorite tenured members to our podcast. And Chris is not only been in business a long time, but he's been very involved with EO, being on the board and in different roles, et cetera. Everyone knows him in Philly. Um, Chris, tell us about how EO has affected your business in regards to like any particular problems it's helped you solve or anything along those lines that you'd like to share with all of us listening.
Oh, thank you. It's great here being with you today.
Great to have you.
So I usually tell people I'm on membership, so I really like telling the EO story to potential people who might come in. So I really find it um, great to really get a glimpse into what problems other people are having and kind of same thing that we
Yeah.
do in forum. You do that experience share, and I get to do that with people who probably are not quite ready for it sometimes.
Mm,
But
yeah.
um, and one of the stories that I usually tell is how I originally came into EO,
Okay.
I
That's
was
great.
in a industrial peer group with a lot of IT people. There's 12 IT people in a room. It's
Yeah. Lots
very
of fun.
very engineering, very ones and zeros, very you drill into the P&L and best practices and all of this fun stuff, and um, it's really not nuanced as far as how you get better. So
Okay.
I was doing a lot of standing in front of and I was a smaller business at the time, and I was really running into a roadblock with, I had some good team leads that I was struggling to try and turn into managers. And there's
Okay.
they were very good at getting to a KPI or driving towards a particular goal that we had. They weren't real good about turning around and extending the hand behind them and developing the people that were working under them. And I didn't have the playbook. I was the guy who had a laptop and a prayer once upon a time and turned it into an IT business.
Right.
And I
Right.
didn't, and they're all staring at me. This is the room full of IT people, and I'm like, how do I become a leader? And I didn't know the
Sure.
answer to that.
Right.
How do I train people to be something that they aren't comfortable in doing? Because I'm not comfortable in doing it. And I was just
Nobody's born with that information.
no. And I mean
Right.
I if you look at if you look at my shop, there's books everywhere, management books, business books,
Okay.
all leadership books, and everything like that. And I was just getting from the room full of IT guys, I was just getting glassy eyed stares, like just. And a friend of mine who was an EO down in St. Louis introduced me to EO in Philadelphia and said, "You're asking the right question. You're in the wrong room." And he put me
Oh,
he
what a
put
great
me
way to
in the
put
right
it.
room. Yeah, he put me in the right room with the right people, and it really has changed my life. It's and I don't say that. I know you get that thrown around an awful lot,
Right.
but from a business owner's perspective, a husband, a father, like the whole bit.
Fully.
Just not even just from the basic. You're not alone in this. Like other people are dealing with all of these things,
Right.
and um,
So tell us how did you overcome the manager problem? I'm interested to know, like, you had a lot of books you were reading.
right.
Probably a lot of business owners have done that, or anybody in business. Read a book and hope to be able to apply that magic sauce, and somehow it's going to change everything.
Yes. A lot of it was evaluating whether or not they were the right people to be there.
So learning that information first.
Absolutely, because I'm ridiculously loyal. And I've
I can
been,
see that.
we're now 25 years in business now, and I have people that have been with me for a dozen, 15 years, but when we were going through this, it was, okay, you've pulled me through the fire, whether it be an internal issue or a client issue or something like that. You're the guy to help me get through this fire, this
You
whatever,
identify this
tackle
employee
this
that's,
hill,
yeah,
to go through whatever it happens to be.
getting you there.
That may not be the same skill set that I need to help people get to beyond what they are right now.
To lead the
To lead
people under
people.
them.
You may be the most fantastic firefighter in
That's
the
right.
world.
Right.
You may not be the best fire chief. So it's a different mechanism. And so
Such an important lesson where people spend time, waste time. So how did you identify that they could learn to become a great manager?
I started doing a lot with traction. I started doing a lot with people.
EOS.
EOS, the
Entrepreneurial Operating System.
yes.
It's a platform, right, for building or running your business.
And it's very
Not an IT platform.
not an
It's a
IT platform.
methodology. A
No.
methodology.
And
Yes.
it's very engineering, which
Yeah.
worked well in my
Yeah.
in my mechanism.
Yeah, I use it in my business, and I'm the
that's-
opposite of an engineering thinker. Yeah.
But it really laid out how developing who you are and what you want other people to be and your core values and everything like that. It really helped analyze the people part of it,
Right.
which just being it's always been like a stranger's mechanism to me, is like just figuring out people and who they are and who they could
Right.
be and everything like that. And it helped take me out of the equation, so to
Right.
speak.
On how to design it, because just because you're an entrepreneur and you had the wherewithal to start and grow a business and it grew doesn't mean that you know how to run every part of it. And I think every entrepreneur, every successful entrepreneur learns that early enough. But sometimes at the beginning, not so much. They think they should know everything. They think they should know everything. But why should you know everything?
Because you're standing in the front of the room and you're the one signing everybody's paycheck.
That's right.
Shouldn't you know all the answers?
Right.
Shouldn't you know exactly where we're going to be
Right.
tomorrow, let alone 3 years from now?
And it's hard to overcome that mentally,
Yep.
that you want to be the hero to everybody and solve all the problems. But what when you become humbled enough to realize, I can't know or be an expert at all these things, right?
No.
That's what you did with this leadership issue.
And you don't have to. You can have a framework around it. I mean,
Right.
you don't necessarily need to know exactly where every piece on the puzzle is going to be, but you at least have the idea of, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to attack this goal
That's
or
right.
whatever it
Yeah.
happens to be. And I know it's probably not going to be a straight line. It never is in what we're doing. But but I know, okay, if I get everybody to understand we're going over in this direction,
Right.
and I over communicate it, which is something I struggle with all the time, because I'm the whiteboard guy.
Okay.
I'm the guy who I paint the picture up on the whiteboard and I go, this is what we're doing. And then still working on this after 25 years, Tina. And then I consider the matter done, because I told everybody and I painted the picture of what we're doing.
Everyone should just go
and then it should just happen. And I still struggle with this to this day.
But EOS has to be helping you with that. 'Cause
Correct.
It gives you EOS gives you, you use the word framework. I think that's a perfect word. It gives you the framework on who should be pushing people through, what role everybody has in the game, right?
And I have some really great people. I have a fantastic COO star who is able to ingest that and
Awesome.
then ask questions.
Right.
Because it's, okay, well, you made that box purple. Do you really need it purple or this? And I have great managers who kind of, okay, this is my piece over here, and they start asking questions.
Got it.
Not necessarily pulling it apart, but they're asking the questions around, okay, I know what he's looking for. how am I going to do implementation? And they're starting to ask the right questions, and well, we might run into a problem over here. And I'm like, well, that's fine. I as long as we get to here, you can attack whatever you want to underneath, and I don't need that level of detail, which
Right.
kind of feels like taking your hands off the wheel a little bit. But
Right.
I wouldn't be able to grow or scale the way I wanted to if I have my hands on every single knob and dial. And
That's a hard lesson to learn.
that was not a light switch moment for me. That was
Okay.
probably a 5-year process for me
Okay.
okay, I'm not
That's
going to
honest.
touch these dials over here
Right.
and then wait.
Uh,
And then wait, okay, we haven't hit a brick wall. We haven't crashed and burned. Okay, I can
I love
probably
that.
leave those dials alone for over here, but I'm still touching these dials over here. It's
So,
okay.
so where are you now?
I'm um I'm probably in the co-pilot seat at this
All
point.
right.
I
That's
don't
awesome.
necessarily think that I'm driving the bus anymore, but I'm definitely watching the road, and I'm still in charge of the radio and so forth and so on. So I
Okay.
have
So
some
you're
I
the visionary in the EOS world. If anybody reads about it or knows about it, there's
yes.
a role of a visionary and there's a role of an integrator. That's your typically commonly a COO,
Yes.
secondhand person. There, you set the vision, the COO executes it. Very challenging. I can speak from experience.
Yep.
Very challenging to let go of the wheel. Then, if you let go of the wheel and you start seeing the wheel going in the wrong direction, all of those things are, it's, but it doesn't it cause you to grow? I mean, for me, it did.
It does. Um, and it's also an interesting dynamic with people who have been with you for a while, where
Right.
they're okay. It's a silly little phrase. I refer to it. We're no longer a kitchen table organization anymore, which you grow out of that. Literally, everybody just asses and elbows. You just throw brute force at every single problem, and we're no longer that company
That
anymore.
little
And
company. And you
yeah,
just moved to a new location,
yeah,
didn't you? Your business is growing, I'm assuming, if you're
yeah.
moving and expanding.
Yes, we're doing fantastic. We're growing for the past couple of years. We've had fantastic growth, and it's been a challenge just to get all of all of those pieces moving in the
Right.
same direction. But and then having the like, hey, we're still carrying the flag, we're still marching
Right.
forward over here, and not looking backwards over your shoulder like 80 times, because you don't have the ability to do that.
And just when everything's turning in the exact right direction, the next level comes or the next thing comes, right? There's no time to
Sometimes
rest. There's
sometimes
no time to
blindsiding.
rest.
Yep.
Right, sometimes blindsiding. And don't you find with each stage of growth, whether you've gone from 1 million to 5 million or 5 million to 10 million or whatever, or 1 million to 1.5 million, sometimes
Yep.
it's like a whole new level of discovery.
Yep.
When you say, like, on how to run you thought you knew how to run this business. You thought you were feeling pretty, snazzy and
For all of
good,
5
making some
seconds.
money,
Yes.
right. And then bam,
Oops. Now
I
look
just
at it.
yeah, and then it's the next thing. So it's never like a rest, but hopefully you get to a point where it's running well, and it sounds like you're getting to that point. Co-pilot, I love that.
Yes. We're and I I I like getting something new. It's not
Yeah,
um it's frustrating. It absolutely is frustrating, because you wake up on a Monday and you're like, all right, I wasn't dealing with this 6 months ago, and it is frustrating because it feels like the one step forward, two steps back sometimes. But if you take a step back, sometimes I talk to other people in EO, and you get that sense of, look, this too shall pass. Just take a breath,
it will.
appreciate where you've been, and the same thing. 6 months ago, you weren't dealing with this, but you also weren't dealing with this.
Right.
All right, so take a pause, take a smile. Um, Not necessarily you don't have to pat yourself on the back, but you're like, all right, we're good. We're now affecting more of our clients' lives. We're affecting more of our employees' lives. We're better than we were
That's right.
6 months ago.
Because we just talked about this in my own leadership team meeting not long ago. We said, how often? And the answer is never. Like negative, never.
Negative,
Negative, never, if
negative,
that's
never.
possible.
I like that
Do
though.
we sit back and say, look at all we've accomplished?
Yeah.
We don't. All we do is look at what we haven't accomplished or what's still on the to-do list or the issues list or the whatever freaking list. And it's, if you never stop and truly just really take it in and appreciate it more than a minute, you have to. Like, you have to give yourself that gift,
Yeah.
and your employees and your leaders that gift.
Give them
Right?
the privilege of
That's a
taking a
great
breath.
word.
Yeah.
Privilege.
My former mate Griff said to me once. You've known
Griff has
you've
been
known
on
for,
the
has he been on here?
podcast, yes.
This business that you're in, whatever business that you're in, it will take every single thing that you're willing to give it, and then some. So you have to like pull back just a little bit every once in a while and say, take a pause, take a breath, and appreciate where you've been. And then get back on the horse.
That's great advice.
Yeah, but it will take anything that you're willing to give.
Yeah.
And more.
You can't go into entrepreneurship of whatever type without that, right? That force that's just natural within you.
Yeah.
And if it isn't natural within you, it needs to be tapped, because otherwise you won't make it, right? Like, you just got to keep going. As if you were running from a fire, you wouldn't stop and take a break. You would keep running.
Keep running.
Right?
You can't, you got to work through the gut punch that you got on a random Tuesday afternoon. You're like, hey, well, that was not fun. Let's try to avoid that. That's just, let's go in a different direction. Let's try something different.
But then that turns around and helps you in your personal life, don't you think?
Yes.
Because you can apply all those skills that you are getting, whether you like it or not, and apply it all through life, and hopefully teach your kids or mentor other people. We talked about that on our last show about mentoring.
My gain is way down. The high highs, low lows, that when I started, I was 30 when I started this, late 20s, and those high highs, those low lows, they eat you up. They really do. And the first 10 years of doing this, it's a roller coaster, and you're like, okay, yeah, we got it, and then, oh no, we don't got it, and we did some acquisitions and went through that process, and yeah, oh no, and then oh yeah, no, and
It was literally a roller coaster.
it really is, and my gains down, so you still hit the highs and the lows, but I try not to let it affect my baseline as much as possible, and I think that does it does I feel like it helps me latch on to other things. My home life, my wife Jen, and my two daughters Sam and Emily, and friends, family, things of that nature. Like, okay, take a pause, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Just it is what it is. We're gonna be okay.
It is what it is.
That's what it is.
That's one of my favorite sayings, because you got to let go. You got to leave it behind, and you got to keep moving forward, and you just got to accept that usually whatever's happening isn't the end of the world.
Just appreciate it. Just
really
appreciate it.
And appreciate the lesson, right?
Yes.
The lesson.
Wow, that was not fun. That was awful. Okay. All right, now what are we going to do? Now, now we're going to try something else. We're going to move on. We're going to do something different. I don't want to do that again, but it changed me to some degree, and I'm able to take that change and do with it what I want now.
Right.
And
it's a lesson that you had to learn through pain.
Yep.
maybe through money, maybe through loss of employees, maybe through loss of a client. Maybe your business didn't grow as fast that year, but you're still standing and you have to just go ahead. And now you have this lesson behind you and this very expensive lesson, in whatever way. But I always say it's like, all right, that's a check I wrote out for this class. And this class was very expensive. So I better have learned from it,
Something.
right? I
Right.
better use it because that was a lot. And then maybe you just share it with somebody else and that's how you use it, whatever it is. But that's a great way to end this. And I think a great advice and great experience shares for people listening, because especially when you're early on and you're feeling these pains and you feel so alone and so certain that you're a failure or you're doing things wrong or whatever, we are all feeling it. Every person. And Chris, a long-term 25 years in business,
Yep.
11 years with EO, 11 years at EO, a mentor to many. I've seen him in action on the board and with people. Everyone loves Chris, and there's a good reason, because he shares openly, as you heard, and it's not surprising that you've been successful. So, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Thank you for having me. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
it was great.